welcome to Tea Time with Sam. I've got Carolyn back today, and we are talking about When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. Now, I'm going to have Carolyn take it away here, giving a quick book description,
Yes.
And it's going to be a slightly different video today. We're going to see both sides of the coin.
I'm going to disagree just a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is acceptable in the book talk space.
Yes. So take it away.
Yes. So When the Moon Hatched is I categorize it more as a fantasy versus a romantasy because it definitely feels more fantasy than romance. And it is set in a fantastical world where there are dragons, and the dragons at some point decided to fly up into the sky, curl up into balls, and become moons. So you have dragon moons in addition to the other moons, but we follow our protagonist, our female heroine. I'm probably not going to pronounce anyone's name right.
Reeve or Rave?
Depending. We didn't listen to the audio, so.
I did listen to the audio. I don't remember.
Yeah, actually, same. So she is a bounty hunter for the government within. There's like 3 kind of spaces within the world. You have the Fade, which is very like cold and snowy. The Shade, the Shade, the Fade, and the Burn. And the Fade is in the middle, and that's where like the government is. Do you remember this?
I remember it now, but I was like, oh wow, the Shade, the Fade, and the Burn. They all sound similar. And then actually last night we were talking about dark romance ratings, and that's literally what I pictured, which coming soon, you'll find out my dark romance ratings.
Yeah, and then the Burn is obviously the desert. And
yes.
So the dragons fit within the different like climates.
And there's 3 types of dragons.
Yes, you have the moon plumes, the molten maws, and the saber scythe.
Yes.
So the moon plumes are in the Fade, so they're like moon dragons,
and they like the cooler weather.
Yes.
Whereas they're complete opposites. The saber scythes, like they're what I
scaly.
Yeah, I pictured more of your quote unquote traditional dragon. They can handle heat.
And I pictured the molten maws as like birds, honestly.
I pictured oh my god, what it's from Harry Potter, the Fantastic Beasts.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of it, and everyone's gonna yell at me, but it's fine. But there's that fantastical beast. Like I can see it. That's what I pictured of those. So like I was like, it's like Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. Like that's what like kind of hooked me in. I was like, it's like Fantastic Beasts. I'm learning about all these fantastical beasts.
Yes. Because there are also a lot of fantastical beasts in this book. But we follow Rave as she goes on a mission. She does kill someone. She meets a very mysterious man who we don't know who he is when she meets him. But she ends up going, kind of having a catalyst for her like adventure is the person who she's closest to ends up dying. This is early on in the book. It's not really a spoiler. And so she gets captured because she kills people she's not supposed to, and then gets saved by our mysterious man who they have to like. He's the king of the Shade. No, the Burn. Yeah, it's been a little while since I've read this, but they go on a kind of forced proximity adventure because he seems to know her. We don't know why. And
yes, yeah, there's that like mystery aspect that kind of keeps you going. Yes. Now, I want to pick her up. She's a chunky one.
She's very
what, almost 600 pages?
No, I think it's close to 800.
Okay, we're gonna find out right now because I can't remember. No, it's 5. Well, with the glossary and all that, it's 558.
Maybe on Kindle it's longer.
Yeah, because of how it's all done.
Yes, but it's very dense world building. They travel across all places of this world. I think we definitely end up in the Burn.
It's
Rave. Okay.
There's a pronunciation guide in the back, everyone.
And his is, I think, Con is how you say it.
Yes, it's Con.
K-A-A-N.
That one I knew.
Yeah. So, and they're very, very tense with each other. And I don't want to spill too much scenes in the world building.
Yeah, we're gonna spoiler free.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of people, yes, like you said earlier, like it's very people say it's romantasy. They're like, this is the next Fourth Wing, and it has different titles on Book Talk. There are some people who consider this high fantasy. I personally think it's not quite high fantasy in the terms of if you're looking at Tolkien or Brandon Sanderson, even Patrick Rothfuss, like those are very high fantasy authors. This is like just a step above. Like just a step above our ACOTAR with more intense world building. And this is my very unpopular opinion. I honestly thought we could have taken out all of the quote unquote high fantasy stuff, the intense world building, because it felt like filler to me. And if we had watered all that down and kept the story actually like as it was without all these extra pieces added in, I would have actually really enjoyed it. Like I could have eaten it up. It didn't need to be 500 something pages. Like, and that's just my opinion, because it felt like I was dragging through it and I was hanging on literally by a thread to figure out these like one or two mysteries that were just stringing me along.
And it does take until about the 50% mark of the book for it to really move. Like we were reading the description before we started, and it's like a fast-paced fantasy romance. And I said to Sam, I was like, this is so mismarketed, because the first 50% of the book is so much world building and digging in, and it's written very lyrically and very
fluffy words.
Yes. And so there's a lot of that, which I'm like, I don't mind it, but sometimes I think it drags down the reading experience sometimes, because you're like, I'm trying to get settled in the world, I'm trying to do this. And I did enjoy the book, but it didn't move until about the 50% mark.
Yes. And like I've read more of those high fantasies, and yes, they move much slower, but some of those books, like they very purposefully write those things with intent. Like the Alfred Hitchcock thing, you don't put a smoking gun in a room without firing it, or a gun in a room without firing it. Same type of thing is like there was a lot of pieces that were put in that didn't feel like they had a lot of purpose or held benefit to the story. She was still writing in a style that was a little bit more just fun fantasy, not high fantasy, where there was a lot of filler words that really didn't need to be there.
And I am curious, because it's
going to be trilogy. Yeah, she said trilogy.
Yeah, so it is a trilogy. So I am curious to see if things like that, as she continues to give us more of the story, like shift and change. Because I think sometimes it is hard to tell with a first book what the foreshadowing is, because we obviously don't know what might be foreshadowed in book 3.
Yeah, so. But like there's just it is book 1 in any fantasy book is a setup to fantasy, like the whole world. It's just it didn't quite hit for me. And with the micro squad and everyone thinking that everything's going to become a themed workout, a lot of people have asked me about this book becoming a themed workout.
So why would it not be a themed workout?
Because there was not enough. In 558 pages, there was actually not enough for me to bring it into a workout. So there's and I'm going to keep it spoiler free, is that there's a moment where our female character, she talks about an instance where she learned self-defense and learned fighting. And it is so lightly mentioned, but never elaborated on, never talked about. And for me to write a workout on that, because I was like, that nugget right there, like I highlighted and I was like, if we could just, like, I thought there was going to be a flashback scene. I thought it was going to happen. I definitely got my hopes up. So I'm like hoping that maybe book 2 will have that and I could possibly become a workout. But like there was like one fight scene like that I can think of. And I was like, like, I'm not going to talk about it here because it is a spoiler.
Yes.
But there's
I know the one you're thinking.
Yeah, and I was like, I was disappointed because it should have gone a different way, and we could have really developed our female character even more. And I could have taken those pieces out to make a workout. But again, like she talked about, like I learned how to fight and I learned how to like do these things, and it's not really enough to build on because, like I've talked about in another video, is that I pulled some of these instances out. I highlight, I use quotes, I use scenarios to describe everything. And it wasn't quite there for me and it didn't jump off the page at me. It was like, here's a nugget. But at that point, if I were to write a workout off those nuggets, it becomes fan fiction. And I'm elaborating in a story I don't know anything about. I'm going to be talking about a scenario that we hear she went through, but then I'm literally creating an entirely fictional workout.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's loosely based now, and it doesn't tie back. It doesn't give you that same vibe that I like to put into my workouts.
Well, it's kind of like we talked about earlier. Like she has this profession of being this badass bounty hunter, which we see very sparingly like throughout the book. So even things like that would be hard for you to draw on because you don't know what her experience with that is.
Yeah, there's just mentions of it. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, come on, just give me like a little bit more. Give me like a paragraph on it, and I can run with it.
Yeah,
but I didn't get there. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, I think there's one point where she's like running across like the wall or something, or like a she's running at one point, and I was like, I don't run. It's not gonna happen.
Side lunges?
Yeah. Oh, we could do a bunch of walking lunges, but no one's gonna like that. I'll like it, but no one else will. So it's just not there, and it won't. Maybe, and I won't never say never, but maybe book 2, maybe book 3, it will have enough context at that point to become a workout, to become something else. Like just one of those things that I need all 3 to build the workout so I can encapsulate all of them. Like imagine if I did the ACOTAR workouts, if I did one for each book. There's so like, first of all, there's not enough in them. There's what in ACOTAR, I'd literally just be talking about Under the Mountain the whole time.
Yeah, the first.
Yeah, I would cut out the entire like 70% for 70% just to talk about the last 30.
Well, and
40%.
Like, so much of Farah too. It's like she's learning how to fly, or she's like it's.
There are instances,
bits of the story.
But looking at those as a whole, I was able to make a Court of Sweat and Sass, and I incorporated. That's the name of the workout. If you didn't know, it encompasses all 5 books, and I do tell like there are spoilers, but like even with Crescent City, I did it with the first 2, and then obviously with the third one, I think I still pulled in instances and stuff like that. Like I need more context in there to give me more, because we focus around just 2 characters, and I can't like even the dragons aren't in there enough for me. So it's like I can't even do like this is how dragons move. You're gonna have like 2 moves you're gonna do.
Very true.
I'm like, well, it's a good idea. I'm not gonna knock it. It could come back, but we have to be patient.
Need more substance. It's not like Fourth Wing where there was a lot of like training or like things like
there was big scenarios that I could pull from. Like it was actually really there was enough to go off of.
Yes.
That's another video we can talk about.
Yeah.
But another day, another trip.
Not another time.
Yes, not another cup of tea. But who would you recommend this to? Because I'm kind of like, nah. Who would you recommend it to?
I would recommend it to someone who like enjoys world building, enjoys fantasy, enjoys kind of that lyrical, not so concrete descriptions, because I know people get hung up on like he smelled like a fresh cut stone. What does a fresh cut stone smell like? Like,
well, obviously your husband doesn't sharpen knives for cooking.
I said, well, whoever said that, that was not my commentary.
I know. I'm just like, I actually know what that smells like.
So there is a smell associated. It's for those who are wondering,
it's like when like fresh cut stone is like when you smell rain on rocks.
Yes,
like it's a very similar smell, and like you would have like more of a metallic. I can't believe I know what that smells like.
No,
is that what he's?
There's I don't know. There's something that.
Or is it a different book that he smells like fresh cut stone?
There was something in this one because that's why I remember. I don't know.
Oh my god!
I can't remember some things.
I don't remember that.
For some reason, someone complained about that, and that's what I remember.
Oh
but like, if you are able to, I think, be able to like imagine that and just kind of go along with the story and where it goes, like I think you'll like really enjoy it. I think if you really like high fantasy, or you want this to be a romantasy, like. It's not those
a
things.
Romance.
Like, yeah, it kind of sits in this just like fantasy space.
Yeah,
like it's a solid read. It's like for the most part pretty well written.
Like, and I think like you said, like lyrical, like fantastical. Yeah, because I kept saying like Fantastic Beasts. Like it is very. I wouldn't say whimsical, because whimsical you think of very light and fun.
Yeah,
but in the sense of like you have a lot of that whimsy, not as bright and happy, not like sugar plum fairies flying around, but like
yeah, because it's a very like not gritty world, but like it's not a nice world. It's not a whimsical world.
No, but like it has that fantastical vibe, which
Yes.
I think fits with you so well.
Yes.
Like you love the fantastical, the whimsical, like any ols, like
yeah.
That's like very much your vibe, and like I just needed more.
Yeah.
It's like I had a late snack.
Yeah. And again, I think like some of the things could be better, but like overall, it was an enjoyable book to read. And I think you can't go into it being like this is going to be like the next ACOTAR or the next like
Fourth Wing
or the next like I know it is a very, very popular book. But I think because I went into it not really knowing what to expect and having kind of heard both sides, like overall I thought it was like really good. And for me, I think too, there were just pieces of it that I thought she did really well. And like the ending, I was like, I spent days, like I kept coming back to like the ending of the book. And so for me, that was like, I did not expect that piece. And so I was like, okay, like, let's see where this goes.
Like, okay, so it does end on a cliffhanger.
Yes.
But I was one of my biggest gripes that I said, and it's not this cliffhanger, it's actually that there's not enough dragon fan art.
Yes.
And is my biggest gripe of this entire thing.
I completely agree with that.
I see enough of Rave and Con.
Yeah.
I'm like, give me the fucking dragons. I just want the goddamn dragons. I want to see what they look like.
Yes.
I want my guide to fantastical beasts. That's what I just really, really wanted. And it was such a weird, like, not a weird thing, but it was just a thing I kept getting caught up on. I was like, I'm searching online for fan art. I just want to see what they look like. I have such a vision in my head and I wanted to see if someone else saw it. And like, there wasn't enough of that online right now. So if you're watching this and you're an artist, hello.
There have been some more that have come out since we read the book, but I also agree because it's like I wanted to see how other people saw the moon plumes or how they saw the saber size.
The molten moths.
Because the molten moths are like all insanely like
colorful. Yes.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking like just like the Amazon and all the parrots. That's like all the flying colors was all I saw.
Yes. The rainbow.
Yes.
The rainbow.
Like, wow, they must be so amazing to see. I don't know what they look like.
But yeah, I think if you don't mind a big chunky fantasy read that just, and like overall it's a really good time, like you probably enjoy this book.
Yeah, and I read on Kindle and I did audio. I did the double. I thought it was fine. It is oh my god, I get it mixed up all the time. It's a dual audio. So he reads all of his chapters. She reads all of his chapters, whereas the other side is a duet.
I like duet.
Duet is like Butcher and Blackbird, Leather and Lark, and Haunting Adeline. Those are all duet audios where even if the guy is talking, the guy is reading his lines, even if it's from her chapter. So they did a good job. I got a little cringe at a couple times just of how like either a voice was said or they said like a nickname because there's always a nickname.
Always.
And I was like, yeah, Moonbeam, which like I think I liked it when the girl said it in the guy's voice, but when the guy said it, I was like, I don't know why it shouldn't have worked that way, but I was like, oh, that didn't hit quite right. I don't know if it's just how he delivers his lines. I don't know, but it's a decent audiobook if you prefer audio, especially to get through like bigger chunks of the story where you're like, oh my god, we're still here.
Yeah. They spend a lot of time in some places and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go somewhere else now.
Yes. Before we leave, what are you drinking?
Today I am drinking Nomadic Meditation from Cozy Tea Shop in Sacramento.
Yes, in Sacramento. And I'm drinking Flaming Fire Flakes from the same tea shop. If you did not gather what those were from the names alone, they are Avatar inspired teas. Which kind of actually ties perfectly into this book series because there are the 4 elements within the series with the Fae.
Yes.
So I think it was actually really, really great. Yeah. If you are Fire Nation, a hothead like I am, this tea is very, very spicy like me. So just if you want to get it, just beware. It's got a kick, but it's actually got a smooth aftertaste. Just FYI. I have no additives in it, so I don't know like if something else will help soothe.
Like some honey, maybe a little bit to cut that a little bit. Maybe potentially. But this is also very good if you're an airbender like me. It's very very light. I said
it's very bright. It
It
matches
is.
your personality.
it's just very bright. I said it reminded me of like Christmas. Like I'd want to drink this at Christmas time.
You're almost there.
I know. So close.
So close. Yeah, this is like being in a fireplace.
In the fireplace.
Well, yeah, it's
With
Fire Nation.
Calcifer.
Oh, that too. But no, I'm like, no, I could drink this with Prince Zuko. I think he would be honored.
He would be.
I would be honored.
Would you help restore his honor?
I will restore my honor. Till next time, everyone. That was the tea.
It is
Water.
Fitting. It is fitting we have airbender tea.
Air. Fire. Fire. Wow! That's got some kick. And I'm drinking flaming fire cakes. Oh my god. And I'm dreaming oh my god!
You're dreaming. You're dreaming.
I'm dreaming